Hello, how are you? I am Nikita,
I'm Will.
and this is the Say How You Feel podcast. The Say How You Feel podcast is where we assist budding entrepreneurs get clear about what they need to do to be successful on their journey. And how do we do that? We do that by having other entrepreneurs on the podcast that they're actually already on the journey, right? They're already going through some things, or they're about to embark on the journey, or they've mastered some pieces. And I think on the entrepreneur journey, you never become a full master, but you conquer some things. I think that's a good way to say it, is that you conquer some things as you're on the journey. I'm going to introduce you to our guest today. Before we do that, we're going to pay some bills. Just You Soap Company's mission is to provide enriching handmade natural products with love, creativity, imagination, and originality. They have a skincare brand that will provide nourishment and moisturization. Ditch the commercial brands. You shouldn't have to sacrifice your time, money, and health on mediocre products. No one should. Visit them at justyoursoapcompany.com. And we're back. So today's guest is Renea Linsom, and I pray that I pronounced her first name correctly. And if not, she will let us know. She is a writer, author, and entrepreneur. She hosts a show on Mexiverse called Crazy Weird News. She is the CEO of Freedom Airs. She has written the upcoming book Sacred Spaces and the book Embracing Your 5%, The Path to Personal Ascension. Renea believes that everything that has happened has brought her closer to her purpose. The title of her keynote is The Road Less Traveled. And there's some links that we're going to share with you all in the description box of how to contact her and all of the things. So without further ado, I introduce to you Renea Linsom. Hello, how are you this
Hello.
morning?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for being here with us today. So
Thank
I don't do any pretense or anything like that. We just jump right in so we can get to the good stuff.
you.
So I'm going to start out asking you, how did you get into the space of becoming a writer who specializes in books and blogs for pastors and counselors? I saw on your Facebook page that you reintroduced yourself, and you mentioned that. So how did you get into that space of writing for others?
You know, at first I always thought, okay, I'm gonna just write for me. It's easy and I don't mind because I always have something to say. I'm always thinking something, but it became later on where I said, well, I love to write, but then I realized, Renee, not everyone loves to write. For some people, it may be the bane of their existence. And so I
Mhm.
said, okay, for everything that I like to do, there's somebody that's like, oh my gosh, I really don't like it. And so I said, I need to cater to some people that are like, I don't have the time for this. I don't really want to make the time for this. So I just need to, bam, here we go. I need to find somebody that can do what I need them to do, and I pay them. There we go. That's one less thing that I have to worry about. So I kind of started there and was like, all right, okay, I need to start writing for other people. And
Mhm.
it's really been great because there's there's a psychology, I believe, to writing for other people, which works out for me because I was a psych major when I was in college. So it's like so I was like, okay, all those skills that I learned, I said, here we go. Whoop.
Right.
I was like, cool beans. It was in me all along. I was like, okay,
Oh,
you learn something about yourself. Like, okay, when you decide to write for others or even having a business that somebody's like, man, I need that, but I wouldn't be the one to have ever thought about it. But they just know that it's something they need in their lives. So I'm grateful. I'm extremely grateful.
just the first, see, that's why I just go ahead and start with the questions, because in you answering the first question, us just getting started, there was so many nuggets, like seriously, because one of the things that I heard is that sometimes we want to do things for ourselves, but the reason why we start the entrepreneur journey is for other people, right? To be of service. And you figured out, no matter how long it took you to figure it out, but you figured out, wait a minute, there are some people that need me to do the thing that I like to do for them. So it was better, even though I can write a book, I can put it out, but there are some people that need me in this space. And you figure that out. And sometimes it takes people years trying to do their business, trying to do things to figure out it's not about me, it's about other people. And I may be able to take my skills and transfer it into helping someone else. I can still do the thing that I want to do for me or whatever, but help
Exactly.
be able to do it. And then the other thing is that you were able to use the skills you already had, which was that college degree. Because I understand, we go to college, we get a degree, we're like, no, what am I supposed to do with this? All this information. I have a political science degree, the international law, learning how to, about the Constitution and how to apply and all that. What am I doing? What am I supposed to do with that? I didn't get to go to law. Well, I didn't go to law school. Don't say I didn't get to go. I didn't go to law school. What am I supposed to do with all that information? But the skills you learn of how to get to
Exactly.
the thing, that's what's helped you. But you went to school for it, and you're able to use the degree that you have and the knowledge to help other people be able to either pull out what they need, or for you to be able to really understand what they're trying to say and put it to pen to paper, as it said, to help them get the book they need. So that is like, all of that is totally awesome, because I think that's going to help a lot of entrepreneurs figure out how to pivot and refocus, because basically that's what you had to do, was refocus. So with that being said, what is the most important thing someone should know when helping others achieve their creative goals? Because you helping people in that space of their books and blogs and counselors, all of that's creative. So what should someone know? What's the most important thing that you've discovered, uh, that you're able to use to help other people achieve their creative goals?
It's really there's when I took a writing class in college, it's don't take it so seriously. It's just important to take the information which you have in you, and to get it out. Because I find that there are ideas that people have, but then they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to do anything with that. Write it down. Write it down anyway. You may end up coming back to it and then being like, oh, and then you know how the cartoon and that light bulb will come on. I
Mhm.
believe it's I've written stuff and was like, I can't do anything with it right now, and I come back to it, or I find my way back to it, and I'm like, oh, and the light bulb go off, and I said, and
Mhm.
I just sit there, and I'm like, and stuff just starts pouring out, because I'm like, okay, but no idea is ever too little, no idea is ever too big. It's just important to don't lose it. Write
Right.
it down, or pull out your phone and put it into your notepad. Put it down some kind of way,
Mhm.
because there's no way there's no what is it, no see, not benefit, but you may not think of it again, so get it out as soon as you think about it. As soon as you I'm like, I keep a pencil, I keep a
Mhm.
pen and paper on me, but even if I'm out, I'll take out my phone and be like, put that in your notepad quick, Renee, because I don't want to lose it, because
Right.
if I lose it, I may not regain it.
Go.
So,
Go.
um, no idea is ever too little. It's just important to, if you have an idea and something is right here in your heart, and you like, ooh, then put it out, but then find somebody to help you to cultivate it.
Mhm.
That's the best part about being a writer, is you may have an idea and like, but then you get with somebody and they're like, yeah, have you ever thought about this? And then you have this whole garden on the
Mhm.
inside of you, all
Mhm.
because you cultivate it, and then you're like, oh, I think I got something here.
Right. Right.
So
You
it's so important.
it is very important. You hit the nail on the head when you said about the idea not coming to you again, right? And it is so important to write it down. I cannot remember what I was watching, but it was someone on YouTube, and she was talking about that, about the thoughts that you have, that you only have them for like 3 seconds, like 3 to 5 seconds. You only have the thought comes to you, you only retain it for a short period of time.
Yes.
And if you don't write it down, you're absolutely right. It's not going to come back to you again. And the thing about it is that the other thing that you said is that if write it down, it may not be for right now, but you can come back to it. My mother was she would write in the margins of her Bible. She had, the notebooks with the stuff, stuff written in it, but she would always date it. And I try to
Oh,
make sure that I date what I write down, and sometimes I don't, and I go back and read like, dog, when did I say this? When was this? And I wrote this down. And I think it's so important for us to do that, to date it. And the reason why is because while you were talking, I thought about Esther. And Mordecai told
oh,
basically such a time as this. How do you not know that you've come to this moment in time because of what's happening to us? So even if the time is not now that you're going to cultivate or create the thing, when it comes back around, it's going to be needed. So it is extremely important to write it down and to date it, so this is when God gave me that. Because the thing about it is, I got to go where I am. I believe in God, Jesus, and all the things. So if the idea comes to you, it's because He needs it in the atmosphere somewhere. It may not be right now, but He needs for this
exactly.
to come out because, as we said before, it's going to help somebody, right? As entrepreneurs, the reason why we get into this thing is because we've identified a problem, and we
Mm-hmm.
know that there's something in us that's going to help us solve said problem. And
Exactly.
the idea that came to you, whatever it is that you need to write down, is going to help somebody else um, in on their journey and solve the problem that they have. The other thing that you said that is so important is don't take it seriously. uh, I think that's what's wrong with so many of us. Why we don't start the
Ooh,
journey of entrepreneurship, and why some of us fail or delay our success,
mhm.
whatever that looks like for us, is because we're taking ourselves too seriously. What have you done, or did you have the issue of taking yourself too seriously? And what did you do to combat that?
See, I'm really grateful. I don't take things too seriously, because you have to learn as you go, and there is a huge, like you were talking about it earlier, there is a learning curve with being an entrepreneur. I do not, and I repeat, Renee does not know everything. I'm learning as I go. However, you there is a with me, there is a very kid-like innocence, because I'm just like, okay, all right, if you don't know, oh well, it's okay. You're gonna know. And when you do know, then it becomes a decision to look, to help other people, to help them to go to know what you know.
Mm-hmm,
So I'm grateful. I don't life, there are some things in life where you have to be serious, but
mm-hmm,
then there also are some times where you can just be like, hey. I think one of my favorite lines from, I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan, but one of the things he said in the first movie was, he said, they were like, well, Indy, what are you gonna do? He was like, gee, I don't know, I'm making this up as I go. And
right.
I always love that, because I'm like, yeah, I don't take myself too serious. I take the gift that I have, the gift of writing. I do take that seriously, because
Right.
it didn't necessarily have to be mine, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a blessing that was given to me. So that means I do have to take that seriously. But this journey, I just owe it to myself to stay on the journey and not
Yes.
give up. So I guess that part is serious, but not me being like, oh, come on, Renee, if you don't get it, you're just silly. But you just go, you just go, and don't take it serious. Just go.
Right. I was taking notes as you were talking. Uh, one of the things that out of what you were saying that I got was learn as you grow. I heard somebody say that people say learn as you go, but it's really learn as you grow. That as you continue on the journey and you're growing from each experience. And if you don't take yourself seriously, you can not only learn, but not only that, but you can grow if you don't take yourself too seriously, because that, I think, that stunts our growth in so many things in life. That if we don't say, you know what, I do some stuff sometimes. One, when I was growing up, one of my favorite characters in a book when I was younger was Amelia Bedelia. Amelia Bedelia was, she always got it wrong. You know, they asked her to prune the tree. She took some prunes and put them on a tree. They're like, "What are you doing?" She said, "You said prune the tree, so I put the prunes on the tree." That's me. You know, I love watching. I love Lucy. She and Ethel would always get into some stuff. That's me.
Yes.
I'm Lucy. I know.
Yes.
So
It was always funny though too.
right, and it was always funny. So that's me. You know, I'll do something and I laugh at myself. I'm like, girl, I can't believe you just did that. You know, so you can, as you go through life, as you're doing the things, you shake your head and say, "Whoops, that was not the right decision." You know, you learn from it and you grow from it. And that
Exactly.
is what we need to do in order to be successful. Whether you're doing something for someone else, because I tell you what, be transparent. Even in the process of scheduling people for this podcast, I've learned some things. I know that we need to get what is it called?
A
Calendar.
Calendly.
Yes, definitely got to get that. You know, because
Mhm.
I'm doing this by hand, essentially scheduling people. You know, and I'm human. So you know, it is what it
See?
is. So you learn.
But then that's what
And
it's all about.
that's what it's all about. The other thing that you said, and I love it, is that you owe it to yourself to stay on the journey. We will give up at a heartbeat. That did not work out. I'm not going to do that. It may not mean that you don't need to do it. Maybe you need to change some things, tweak some
Come
things.
on. Come
Stop.
on.
Just keep going. It's
That's
okay.
right.
And you're absolutely right. We owe it to ourselves, because if we give up on the thing, that means we're giving up on ourselves. And I don't think
Ex-
that God destined us to give up on ourselves. He wanted to get Abraham and Sarah, right? They were gonna
Exactly.
have the kid. She was like, "Look, I'm old. This stuff ain't happening yet. You old. We not gonna have a child. Just let it go." That's how they ended up with Ishmael. You know, because you gave up on the journey of what God said. You couldn't wait. And then He didn't say it was gonna be at that moment. He just said it was gonna happen.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
They put it in their into their own hands. And
right,
that was where they messed up. They
that is
couldn't
where
be patient.
right. You have to be, and then here's the thing. This is how the life application of it. So you decided you were going to do the thing instead of waiting on, because if nobody's figured out yet, this is basically faith based. Okay.
It
So
is.
if
Mm-hmm.
if you take it into your hands, you know that the thing that came to you, because the thing is that we don't come up with the idea. God
Yes.
puts the idea, He plants it in us. It's a seed. He plants it. And then what Renee does, she's one of those people that helps you, as you said, cultivate it, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
seed's been
Exactly.
planted and you help bring it out. But sometimes we try to do it ourselves and we end up with an Ishmael. And then what happens is that when the promise comes, we have to get rid of the thing that we created ourselves.
See, you better watch it. Watch it.
So
And mm-hmm.
go
Mm-hmm.
ahead. Go ahead.
You better watch it. I'm watching you because it's very crucial. There are ideas, there are businesses, and so many. Excuse me, and everyone, but you have to allow the cultivation to happen. You can't just step out. I mean, it's fine to step out in faith, but
Right.
you have to be led. Don't just feel like, okay, I'm gonna do this. You have to allow yourself to be led. If your house is
Mm-hmm.
not right, then that's exactly the way your business is going to flow.
Mm-mm.
If you are not right here, Okay, I'm
Mhm.
pointing. There we go. You guys see. Okay, I'm pointing here. So if you're not right, then what kind of business are you going to have to where God is going to be able to bless that business? You
Right.
have to take your hands off of it and be like, okay, all right, because it is a faith. It takes crazy faith to
Mhm.
have a business. It's
Yes.
easy to say, yep, I have a business, blah, blah, blah. But entrepreneurship is challenging. It is
Mhm.
a blessing, but
Yes.
it is a challenge.
Mhm.
And I'm learning more. I'm learning more about myself, and I'm learning like, whoa, Lord, woo, am I enough for doing this? Yes, I
Right.
am. But I'm grateful because that means for me to go out on this, that means that I trust God enough. I trust what He put in me enough to
Mhm.
do something about it.
Right.
Man, it's a journey. It's so it is.
Look, I
Oh my
just
God.
look, because you just said something. You trust what he put in you enough to take the journey. I gotta write that down.
I mean, because it is a walk by faith. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? A friend of mine always says, you have to have faith to get started and faith to finish. And I love that because
Mhm.
it's like it's easy to say, okay, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm jumping in. All right. And then it's like when you swim, it's like, uh-oh, okay, I can't swim right here.
Mhm.
So I need some more faith in order to keep going so I can get to shore. So I'm
Right.
like, okay, all right. That means I need a little bit more here. And it is, you have to trust the process. You have to trust God enough to be like, okay, when I start to kind of sink a little bit right here, that means, okay, I need some more help so I
Right.
can be able to get to the next milestone.
Right. I you saying all that I was gonna ask, what does your entrepreneur journey look like? But really you just said it, right? Because it takes faith, obedience, no, faith, discipline, and obedience, whichever order you want to put the last two in. But I think it takes those two things, right? All three of those things plus what you said.
It
because,
does. It really
because
does.
yeah, because you have to have faith in order to step out. And I guess really it's the obedience then discipline, because you have to be obedient to what it is that has been placed into you, but you have to have the discipline to stick with it and to do
Whew.
it, and accept the fact that I'm not going to get it right every time. But if I stick with it and I'm disciplined with the thing that I have, it's going to come out the way that it needs to come out, even with the jacked upness. Because even though Abraham did the thing with Ishmael, even though Jacob tricked Esau, the list goes
Mhm.
on, even though David did the thing with Bathsheba and all
That's
the
right.
stuff, you know, it's still, everything still worked out the way that it was supposed to work out, the way that God desired for it to work out, even though there
That's
were some hiccups along the way, because that's going
that's
to happen.
right.
Even in
That's right.
entrepreneurship, it's going to happen. What advice would you give somebody that is hung up on the hiccups?
Really think about your why. Okay. That is one thing that for me I've held on to is what's my why? Why did I say that I'm gonna get into this? Why? And for me, my why was I said, okay, I'm gonna be the first person in my family to do the unconventional because
Mm,
it's never been done in my family. It's
mhm,
never been done. And I said, okay, God, all right, you gave me these hands, you blessed me to do things with these hands, and I'm gonna do it. That's my why. So when I get down, I'm like, remember
mhm,
your why, remember your why, because it
mhm.
ties everything in together and it helps you to be like, okay, there's that faith, that continuous faith to finish. So think about your why. Also think about the people that need you and what's going to happen to those people if you give up. What's going to happen to those people that are specifically needing your business? What's
Mm-hmm.
going to happen to them if you're not there? What's going
Right.
to happen?
Right. That is
It's
so
going
true.
to be on your hands
Right.
because you didn't want to finish.
Because you
I
didn't
don't want
want
to do that. I'm sorry.
right.
The blood will not be on my hands,
Right.
Queen. I'm
Right.
going to finish.
Right. There's I can never remember how it's said, but basically the cemetery is full of good ideas, right? There are so
Come
many
on.
people who died with the next solution to so many things, so many, and we may not have the solution to it. We may not get the solution to it because it may not come back around again to somebody. Because what if the next person it comes to is so defeated or so scared to step out and do the thing because they're scared of the ridicule, or they're scared of what their
Come
family's
on.
gonna say, or they're scared of, I just don't have it in me, whatever it is. So they're never
Mhm.
gonna do it. And it is so true. You have to, I love how you said continuous faith to finish, because that's what it takes. You have to believe in what the thing is that's been poured into you. You have to believe that the right people are going to come so that you can serve them, because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're serving
Yes.
people. But whatever it is that we're doing, whatever it is we have, that's what we're doing. We're providing. It's more than just providing a service for pay. It's actually serving people because it's going to do something to and for them that hopefully helps them on the next thing that they need to do. I have to
Exactly.
ask you, with what it is that you're doing, how do you see your business growing, and what are you doing to prepare for the growth of your business?
One thing to prepare for the growth is wow. Is just I stay in constant prayer and really meditation, because I'm like, okay, Renee, what is your business gonna look like in the next 5 years? What's it gonna look like in the next 10 years? And I know what it's gonna look like within the next 5 years. The next 10, I'm like, okay, I need to work on that now, see what it's gonna look
Mhm.
like in 10 years.
Right.
Um, but I know right now it's like, okay, you continue to get your customers to come in, and then I can start hiring people, and then when I'm able to hire people, then that means okay, that means I'm able to kind of scale myself back a little bit, and I'm able to pour into the next generation of writers that are coming, because I really want to do that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
as much as I love writing,
Mm-hmm.
mentoring and helping that next generation of writers is huge for me, because
Okay.
someone's got to be able to give it back.
Mm,
So, um, and that's where my mindset is. I'm like, oh, Renee, you need to give it back legacy. I'm a huge legacy person. If
mhm.
I leave here, in 30 years, there should be 30,000 writers because of
Wow.
Freedom Airs that have been able to go for or even farther than I
Mhm.
got. So that means I got some work to do.
Right.
So
Right.
that's exactly what it means. But hey, to whom much is given, much is required.
Right.
But it's these years are very crucial for my business. But it means that I just have to keep going. I mean,
Mhm.
I just have to be like, okay, all right, keep your head up and keep putting yourself out there, because there are relationships that are going to be born from this business. So I just need to get it out there. That's all I-
Right. I love that. Understanding that it's a legacy thing. We were watching a podcast earlier today. I think it was Cam Newton's podcast. He had Lecrae on, and Lecrae was talking about. I didn't even know Lecrae had, not only that he had written a book, but that it was a New York Times bestseller. Had no idea. But um, that's what he was saying. Something what you just said basically is that it's about leaving a legacy. He was like, he wants to, how did he put it, leaving
To leave a lasting legacy, you got to put it in a book.
yeah, so other generations can read it. And you saying that's it's true. How will other people know it's not just what you went through, but how to get through go the journey, how to walk it out, if you don't leave some type of written document. I think that everyone, if God put it in you to write a book, then that means that you need to reach out to somebody like a Renee. If not Renee, then somebody that's like her that can help pull it out of you and assist you with getting it down in a way where it is palatable, digestible, and able to be applied to yourself, so that you can read it and be able to say, okay, this is how I need to apply this. I can take all of it and apply it, because there's so many things that we read that we're like, and I've had to tell my children this. Some stuff that you hear, some stuff that you read is not for you to eat. You just
Come
read
on.
it, see it, and let it go on by its way. And then the other stuff that you're supposed to eat, digest, so that you can regurgitate it, that's what you take in, because everything's not like that. But if you want something like that, then Renee is the type of person that you need to get in contact with. So before we go, I have one more question, and then I want you to give us how we can get in contact with you. So here we
Okay.
go. If you had one chance to impart wisdom to a new entrepreneur, what would you say?
Start. It is, you can have the best business, the best idea in the whole wide world,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't matter if you don't start it. If you say, I'll do that next year, I'll do that tomorrow, it's important that you don't take your days for granted,
Mm,
that you put that business out there. It doesn't matter if it's just a post on your social media page, or if you just put a couple thoughts down and you say, okay, I'm gonna start my book today. All right, but I only did 2 paragraphs. It's all right.
right, right,
It's important is that you put yourself out there. Do not go deaf on that promise
mhm,
that you have. Do not. It is your time. You will meet the people. This is the blessing. You will meet people to continue to reassure you of this business, but you won't ever meet them if you don't put yourself out there. I
right,
started blogging, and I said, okay, I'm a blog first, and then blogging transformed into a business, and it transformed into being on lovely podcasts like this one. But I would have never have known if I would not have put myself out there. So put
right,
yourself out there, and don't worry, the people that are assigned to bless you, don't worry, you'll meet them, but you just got to put yourself out there first. I want
right.
to see you at the top, not from the top.
Oh, that's good. I gotta write that one down. See you at the top, not from the top. I like that.
But yeah, oh, and then you asked where
Oh
people
my God.
can find.
Everything that you said today, I've taken, I got a whole lot of little notes I gotta put into my journal. I love the last thing that you said about that you want to be able to see the people that you work with at the top, not from the top. I love that. That's going to be shared. That's going to be shared on social media today, because I love, love, love that. So, how can people get in contact with you? How can they purchase your books? Do you have a website? What's all the deets?
All right. So the book, the Sacred Spaces book, is actually going to be coming out soon. It's a marriage book with me and the hubs. So that will be coming out very, very soon. We're so excited, So but the ebook, if you have my link tree, which you do have.
I do.
It is my freebie, so feel free to download that book. It is on my link tree, but I am Queen Reliable Renee across all social media platforms. So
Okay.
I do have, boy, I have a TikTok, I have a Instagram, and I do have, of course, my Facebook page. So you can feel free to hit me up there. I put so a lot of my writings or different stuff that I'm doing. I'll put stuff, and people are like, "Hey, okay," so you can kind of stay focused in on what I'm doing, what's going on in the world of Queen Reliable Renee. It's always something. But yeah, feel free to hit me up. Or my email address is also queenreliablerenea03 at gmail.com. So that's also my
Awesome.
email. You know.
Thank you so much for being here today. It was totally awesome. I enjoyed talking with you. You gave some tremendous nuggets. And like I said, I took notes. So I greatly appreciate it. We hope that you won't be a stranger, that we'll be able to bring you back on again and all things.
Okay.
So you are just, you're a blessing. If no one's ever told you, you're totally a blessing. So we totally really do appreciate you taking the time. And yeah, you're awesome. Thank you so
So
very
are
much.
you guys. Thanks you guys so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching today's show. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to follow Renee on all social media. And if you are a budding author, if you're a current author but you need some help, you're stuck in some ways, be sure to reach out to her and get on her calendar so you all can have a discussion about what your next steps are. Before we leave, we've got to pay some more bills. Allow Say How You Feel to take your logo to new heights. Whether you need t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, or pens, we can assist you with your custom needs. Contact us at 615-839-0788 or sayhowyoufeel@gmail.com. All right. Y'all have an awesome and blessed day, and we will see you next time.